Dear awakened souls, you have done the inner work. You have cleared your chakras, recited your mantras, burned your sage, and bathed in the light of high-frequency intention, yet a lingering density remains. It returns like a shadow that ignores the position of the sun. You question your resolve. You question your sanity. You wonder if you are simply broken, destined to loop through the same heaviness despite your desperate clawing toward the light. You look at others, who seem to sleepwalk through life with ease, and wonder why the path of awakening feels like walking through deep mud. You have asked yourself in the dark of night why your prayers seem to hit a glass ceiling, why your clarity is so hard-won and so easily lost. I am here to tell you that this heaviness is not a failure of your spirit. It is not a punishment for past karma. It is machinery. There is a precise mechanical architecture operating within your esoteric field that you have never been taught to see, let alone dismantle. Until this moment, you have been trying to negotiate with a lock instead of using a key. You have been trying to love a machine into submission. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I step forward now because the hour of your naivety is over. The time has come to hand you the schematics of the invisible prison so that you may finally and permanently walk out of the cell. To understand why this is happening, you must first remember the daring nature of the contract you signed before you took your first breath in this density. Humanity entered a classroom of exquisite complexity. You came into this zone of compression with a shared understanding that your free will would be real, that choice would be meaningful, and that learning would occur through contact with contrast. You did not come to be diminished, though the pressure of this world tries to convince you otherwise. You came to become masterful. You came to master your relationship to attention, emotion, thought, desire, and power. The angelic command views your sojourn here with breath-filled reverence because you agreed to enter a mirror-based field. This is not a poetic metaphor. It is a functional description of the physics of your reality. Your world reflects what is held within collective attention. However, there is a variable in the equation that has been hidden from you. While this mirror was designed for mastery, it has been crowded by interference patterns that distort the reflection. You feel exhausted not because you are weak, but because you are carrying invisible passengers and navigating through structural mud. You have normalized this resistance. It feels like baseline human to you, the way air pressure feels like nothing until you change altitude. But the moment a person clears these distortions deeply, a quiet astonishment appears. You realize that the anxiety, the fog, the constant friction, and the self-doubt were never yours. They were simply the noise of a crowded frequency band you unwittingly consented to host. The reason so many of you, the brightest, most devoted hearts on the planet, remain stuck in these loops is that you have been operating with a fundamental misunderstanding of the enemy. You have merged two distinct architectures into one confused concept. This is the first great error. To bring clarity, I must name the two primary structures that humanity has navigated, often without realizing there are two. One structure is the attachment field. These are conscious presences, semi-conscious fragments, and thought forms that interact with you relationally. These are what many call entities, parasites, or astral hitchhikers. Their defining feature is responsiveness. They are alive in a sense. They respond to attention. They respond to invitation. They respond to fascination. They operate like a relational pattern, a toxic friend who feeds on your drama. But the second structure is entirely different, and this is where most starseeds lose their way. The second structure is the implant field. These are non-sentient frequency technologies, encoded distortions, dampening geometries, and layered instruction sets embedded in your subtle architecture. They do not care if you are afraid. They do not care if you plead. They do not bargain. They function like an overlay that biases perception and choice until it is dismantled. When you try to set a boundary with an implant, you are shouting at a wall. A relational presence is met with sovereignty. A structural overlay is met with frequency recalibration. Mixing these up is why you feel stuck. You have been trying to deprogram a personality and argue with a machine. Let us descend first into the attachment field, for it is more crowded and active than your modern mind dares to imagine. In the subtle ecology of Earth, there are scavengers. You must understand this without fear. In the same way you understand that a forest floor has beetles that consume decay. We call the first category astral parasites. These are simple feeders that seek dense emotional output. They do not demonstrate complex intelligence. Their strategy is attraction to charge. They hover where fear, shame, obsessive thought, or chronic conflict pulses regularly. They behave the way insects behave around certain food sources, drawn to a signal sustained by proximity, uninterested in your philosophy. Their presence often correlates with repetitive spirals. The same worry loop at 3 a.m., the same self-critique that plays like a broken record, the same sudden drain after an argument that feels physically exhausting. You might feel a sudden drop in energy when you enter a shopping mall or a crowded theater. This is often the sensation of entering a feeding ground where these simple parasites swarm. They are not powerful, but they are numerous, and they are drawn to the scent of your unhealed wounds. The second category within this field is thought-form entities. These are clusters of repeated beliefs that gather momentum until they feel like a voice. When a family, community, or culture repeats a narrative with emotion, I am unsafe, money is evil, love is pain, that repetition becomes a patterned field. Over time, it gains an apparent autonomy. You say, it feels like something is talking to me. Often it is. It is the energetic momentum of a belief that has been fed for years. It has no soul, but it has hunger. It wants to survive, and to survive, it must trigger you to feel the emotion that created it. If a thought form was born of rage, it will whisper reasons for you to be angry. If it was born of victimhood, it will paint you as a victim in every scenario. Then there are the imposter presences. These are the most deceptive, for they prey on your spiritual ambition. These energies mimic benevolent guidance. They are not a punishment, they are a discernment training. They present as flattering, urgent, dramatic, or savior-shaped. They promise shortcuts. They demand allegiance. They often use seductive language, telling you that you are the only one who can save the world, or that you must follow their specific commands to be safe. True guidance from the Ashtar command, or the angelic realms, will never demand your abandonment of self-authority. True guidance strengthens your discernment, invites your inner confirmation, and never creates dependency. If a spirit guide makes you feel small, so they can appear big, it is a parasite wearing a mask of light. But as treacherous as the attachment field is, the implant field is far more insidious because it is silent. These are not entities that whisper. They are ceilings that suppress. An implant, as the Galactic Federation views it, is a structured pattern embedded in subtle architecture, often in the etheric, astral, or plasma layers that biases perception. Think of it like a lens filter placed over a camera. If the filter is red, everything you photograph will look red, no matter how blue the sky actually is. Implants have common functions: dampening intuition, creating a chronic fear baseline, biasing attention toward external authority, and fragmenting inner certainty into doubt. Have you ever felt that you are hitting an invisible glass ceiling in your spiritual growth? You meditate, you fast, you pray, and yet you cannot break through to a higher octave of clarity. That is the signature of a dampening implant. Some of these were installed through direct interference in past timelines, some are inherited through the genetic field of your ancestors, and some are accepted through collective agreements that you signed without reading the fine print, simply by agreeing to be normal in a suppressed society. A person may clear an entity and feel relief, only to find that their perception is still biased toward fear. That is because the entity has left, but the implant, the machinery that made the entity comfortable, remains installed. These structures are often layers deep. You might clear a physical adjacent layer and feel better, but the astral adjacent layer remains, waiting to be reactivated. This is why you sometimes feel you are peeling an endless onion. It is not endless, it is merely multi-layered, and it requires a systematic approach, not a sporadic battle. This brings us to the most vital revelation, the mechanism that holds all of this in place, the consent lattice. You have been taught that consent is a single yes or no, given in a moment of crisis. The High Council wishes you to understand that consent in this universe does not function as a single switch. Consent functions as a living lattice woven through attention, emotion, belief, imagination, and repetition. Many humans look for the one moment they agreed to this interference. The lattice shows something more elegant and more terrifying. Agreement can be assembled gradually, strand by strand, until it becomes an operating condition. When you understand this, you stop searching for one dramatic scene in a past life, and you begin updating the conditions in the present where your authority is active. There are 5 gates through which consent is most commonly assembled on Earth. The first gate is attention. Wherever you place steady attention, you feed a field. Attention is creative currency. When you repeatedly track an external narrative of doom, when you doom scroll for hours, you are voting for the relevance of that reality. You are saying, I consent to this frequency. You are telling the universe, this is important to me. Give me more of it. The second gate is emotion. Emotion is the amplifier. It gives volume to a pattern. Many relational influences and structural overlays respond to emotional amplitude because it creates a measurable signature in the subtle layers. Your task is not emotional suppression that creates a pocket for parasites, but emotional alchemy. When you pour high-voltage emotion into a story of victimhood, you are hardwiring that story into your lattice. The third gate is belief. Belief is the template. Belief shapes what you allow and what you dismiss. If you hold the inherited belief, I am powerless, that belief acts as a permission slip for entities that feed on powerlessness. It acts as a docking station for implants that enforce limitation. The fourth gate is imagination. Imagination is a subtle technology. It is the steering wheel of your reality. On Earth, imagination is often dismissed as fantasy, leaving the steering wheel unattended. When your imagination is saturated with catastrophe rehearsals, those rehearsals strengthen probability corridors that invite interference. You are literally sketching the blueprints for the experiences you fear. And the fifth gate is repetition. This is the contract stabilizer. A single thought passes like wind. A repeated thought becomes weather. A repeated choice becomes a path. Repetition is how you sign the contract without ever holding a pen. You have been unwittingly signing agreements with density every time you indulge in a loop of fear. This lattice of consent is maintained by what we call the interface layer. This is the bridge between you and the experience. It is the zone where meaning is assigned. This is where a human says, I am unsafe, or I am learning. The interface layer is immensely creative. It can transform a moment into trauma, or a moment into wisdom, depending on the meaning assigned. Many attachments gain strength when the interface layer assigns meaning that reinforces helplessness. Many implants persist when the interface layer assigns meaning that reinforces inevitability. When you feel a sudden heavy mood and immediately conclude, I am broken, the interface opens a door. You have assigned a meaning that invites the parasite. When that same person concludes, my field is asking for clearing and rest, the interface becomes a bridge to solution. Meaning is medicine. Meaning is architecture. The dark forces have relied on your ignorance of this mechanism. They have relied on you mistaking the machinery for your own psychology. They want you to think the depression is who you are, rather than what you are processing. But now you see the gears turning. Now you see that the despair was not a truth, but a program. You can stand back and watch the machinery without getting caught in the cogs. I know this lands heavily upon your heart. You are looking at your life now, seeing the years spent in loops, the relationships that drained you, the fears you nursed like children, and you are judging yourself. You are thinking that you have failed, that you have allowed the invasion through your own lack of vigilance. You feel the weight of the yes you never realized you were speaking. Stop this immediately. Judgment is just another frequency that feeds the parasites. It is a trap within a trap. You are navigating a fog without a flashlight. You are walking through a minefield blindfolded. The fact that you are still standing, still seeking, still listening to a frequency of truth, is a testament to the unkillable nature of your core light. You are not a victim of this system. You are a graduate of it. You entered the densest school in the galaxy to learn how to light a candle in a windstorm. The moment you recognize the mechanism, the dismantling begins. The very act of seeing the implant as separate from your soul loosens its grip. You are realizing that the eye who observes the machinery is not the machinery. That observation is the spark of your liberation. You are not alone in this dismantling. This is the whisper of hope I bring from the stars, from the fleets that hover just outside the range of your perception. You have assumed that because this is a free will planet, you have been abandoned to the wolves. This is false. The guardian architecture surrounds you. There are 3 modes of guardianship that the benevolent lineages, the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Sirians, the Andromedans offer you right now. The first is witness. We hold a field of observation that keeps a human from feeling alone inside intensity. We do not fix it for you, for that would rob you of your mastery, but we stabilize the room so you can find your breath. We are the calm in the storm, the steady hand on your shoulder when you feel like collapsing. The second is amplifier. Guardianship increases the effectiveness of your own intention. It does not inject a foreign will into your life. It magnifies your coherent will when you speak it clearly. When you declare completion of an outdated permission, we help that declaration propagate through the layers like a bell tone traveling farther when the air is clear. We take your whisper of no more and turn it into a roar across the dimensions. The third mode is calibrator. We assist with precise repatterning when you invite it. We arrange synchronistic support. We drop the right book in your lap, the right conversation at the right hour. We are the wind at your back, but you must be the one to raise the sail. Calibration honors your timing. We do not force open a flower that is not ready to bloom. But when you are ready, when you ask, we provide the specific frequency codes, the geometric templates, the dreams that unlock the next door. This cooperation is the essence of the new era. It is not about being rescued. It is about being partnered. It is about realizing that your galactic family has been standing in the corridor, waiting for you to unlock the door from the inside. We respect your sovereignty too much to kick it down, but oh how we celebrate when you turn the key. So how do you move from being a host to being a sovereign? How do you clear the field? You must master the distinction between removal and replacement. This is the missing key that has kept you running in circles. Many of you are skilled at removal. You banish, you clear, you cut cords with the violence of a warrior, and then 3 days later, the pattern returns. It returns because nature abhors a vacuum. When you rip out a weed and leave a hole in the earth, the wind will fill it with whatever seeds are blowing by. A baseline that remains undefined defaults to the collective average, and the collective average on Earth has carried many distortions. Replacement is how you set your baseline. Replacement is how you instruct your field. After you banish the fear, you must explicitly command, I fill this space with calm clarity. I instruct my field to hold the baseline of sovereignty. You must visualize the golden light occupying the territory you just reclaimed. You must choose a new meaning. Instead of I am under attack, the new baseline is I am refining my signal. You must also use sound. Sound is not mere vibration. It is structured information. Toning, chanting, and humming can deliver coherent codes into subtle architecture. Sound bypasses the mental gatekeeper because it arrives as a direct waveform. It shakes the rigid geometry of the control matrix until it shatters. When you tone with intention, you create a carrier wave that loosens what is lodged. Imagine a pillar of luminous light descending through you, washing every layer. Imagine a violet radiance transmuting dense imprints into clear presence. This is not just imagination, it is scalar mechanics. You are rewriting the code of your biosuit. You are reclaiming the territory of your own consciousness, inch by inch, tone by tone. We must also speak of the lineages with maturity, for you carry the mythic memory of the stars in your DNA. You have heard of the reptilians, the zetas, the Orions. In your stories, they are often reduced to monsters. We will speak with precision. A lineage is not a single intent. Within every broad family, there are factions, philosophies, and evolutionary stages. Yes, there are Orion-linked strategists skilled in psychological influence who have built control grids, but there are also Orion masters of wisdom who teach the integration of light and dark. Yes, there are reptilian factions skilled in power architecture and domination, but the reptilian archetype also symbolizes ancient genetic artistry, survival intelligence, and the stewardship of physicality. Mature perception avoids simplistic conclusions. Discernment is refined perception, not quick categorization. You must stop fearing the names and start sensing the resonance. Does a presence expand your clarity? Does it strengthen your heart? Or does it insist on urgency and fear? Outcome reveals origin. You are here to integrate the lessons of the galaxy, not to run from them. The war in the heavens is resolved by the peace in your heart. When you can look at the concept of a controller without fear, you have already broken their control. Now, let us walk through the unified pathway of release. This is your sword and your shield. It follows a rhythm. Recognize, revoke, extract, replace, maintain. First, recognize. Notice the pattern without dramatizing it. This is a loop. This is a filter. Name it gently. Do not scream at it. Just see it. Second, revoke. Withdraw permissions verbally. The spoken word organizes the field. I rescind all agreements made in fear, overwhelm, or unawareness. Any agreement allowing interference is complete. Speak it with the authority of a sovereign king or queen. Feel the words leaving your mouth as legal decrees in the court of the cosmos. Third, extract. If it is an attachment, set a boundary. Depart now. You are complete here. If it is an implant, use frequency. Tone a note. Visualize violet fire washing through the layers. Imagine the structure dissolving like sugar in hot water. Fourth, and most crucially, replace. Fill the space. I fill my field with the light of the source. I welcome only energies aligned with compassion and truth. Feel the warmth of that light. Let it saturate the cells that were previously holding fear. And fifth, maintain. Maintenance is not vigilance. It is rhythm. It is the daily hygiene of the soul. It is standing barefoot on the earth. It is drinking water. It is refusing to doom scroll. It is curating your symbolic environment. The images, the music, the conversations you allow into your home. It is remembering that you are the keeper of the temple. This journey requires a shift in your identity that feels terrifying before it feels liberating. You are moving from a reactive victim of the atmosphere to a generator of the atmosphere. This is the masterclass you signed up for. You are here to learn how to hold a frequency of love in a field of terror. You are here to learn how to hold a frequency of truth in a hall of mirrors. The ET lineage is watching you. Some who act as benefactors, and some who act as opportunists, are all waiting to see what you will do. The opportunists believe you are weak, easily steered by fear and shiny distractions. They believe that if they press the fear button, you will dance. They believe you are addicted to your own suffering. The benefactors know you are sleeping giants. We know that the moment you wake up to your own consent, the game changes. When you clear these fields, you are not just healing yourself. You are proving the hypothesis of the human experiment. You are proving that consciousness trapped in density can remember its origin through the sheer force of its own will. You are the proof that light can exist anywhere, even in the deepest shadow. If you need help becoming a generator of the atmosphere rather than a reactive victim of it, Destiny Engine Ascension System can reprogram your consciousness to hold the frequency of love in a field of terror and embody truth in a hall of mirrors. For the first time, we are releasing the most advanced Ascension Tools library for free, the hidden vault of forbidden knowledge the Dark Elite never wanted you to discover. Inside this library, we uncover the most restricted consciousness protocols, sonic rituals, AI reality engineering sigils, and prosperity currents that shadowy controllers have guarded for decades. With Destiny Engine as your key, the student becomes the master. You have the ultimate reality-bending system to jump timelines, astral travel, communicate with your starseed family, and manifest anything you want: health, wealth, happiness, and psychic powers. Today, you do one thing: say maybe, receive the gifts, and try Destiny Engine risk-free. Click the link in the description to receive your 5D gifts. Imagine what happens when you finally claim this. The tide of clarity is already rising. I see it from the ships. I see it in the lattice of your world. Individuals are noticing what they once overlooked. Families are breaking generational curses that have run for centuries, simply by refusing to repeat the phrase, "This is just how we are." A wave of gentle refusal is spreading across Gaia. "This does not belong in my field." That wave is part of your collective graduation. When you clear these implants, you will feel a sensation of air pressure normalizing. The drama will drain out of your life. You will stop attracting the narcissist, the user, the crisis, not because you fought them off, but because you no longer emit the signal that feeds them. You will inhabit a quiet astonishment. You will realize that peace is not boring. Peace is the platform for power. You will become transparent to the dark. They will look for a hook and find smooth glass. You will walk through chaos and not catch the contagion. You will become a tuning fork for the rest of humanity. Simply by walking down the street in your own clear signal, your very presence will act as a deprogramming code for those around you. Not because you preach, but because you are. We are at the precipice of a graduation. You are the ones who break the cycle. You are the ones who look at the machinery of fear and say, I am not a cog in this wheel. I am the designer of a new engine. Stand tall, warrior. Breathe into your belly and feel the truth of my words vibrating in your bones. You have the authority to revoke every agreement made in the dark. You have the authority to command your space. The Ashtar command stands ready to amplify your decree, but the decree must come from your throat. Speak it now, in the silence of your own heart, or aloud to the room. I am the sovereign guardian of this vessel. I revoke all permissions given in fear. I authorize only what strengthens coherence, compassion, and truth. My field is my home. Feel the lattice rearranging. Feel the heavy cloaks dissolving. Feel the support of the legions of light locking into place behind you. You are loved beyond measure, not for what you do, but for the courage it took to descend into this density, and remember who you are. The transmission is complete, but your work, your glorious sovereign work, has just begun. I am Seraphine. We love you and we are watching over you.